the reason the book is called The End of Insurance as We Know It is not to say that insurance is going away at all as a product. I do think, and I talk about this in part 4 of the book, that you could design something that is similar, that provides that downside protection, and I call it kind of a risk transfer product, right? So it has elements of insurance, but is not insurance. So I absolutely believe that there's a way to build a better product that may be much more applicable in some, if not all, scenarios. In terms of trying to peel back the onion to get, what is insurance at its core? It's really to provide that negative downside financial ruin this event from happening. So I'm not saying that insurance is going away. There's still a need for the product, and whether we call it insurance or whether it's a risk transfer product or whatnot kind of remains to be seen. But that fundamental need is not going away. At the same time, all these technologies, so much money pouring into this space, so many bright people thinking about this from around the globe. Insurance has so many opportunities, and I talk to a lot of insurance executives that recognize the change, but they think it's going to be a decade or more. And it's very convenient if you're planning to retire in the next 3 to 5 years, and insurance does tend to skew to be an older industry, to kick the can down the road. And so my key message to traditional insurance agents and brokers and carriers is the speed of change is accelerating. You see it all around you in other parts of your life. It is coming to insurance. And this is not stuff that's going to happen 8 to 10 years from now. It's happening now, in the next 6 months, in the next year, in the next 2 years. And I start the book by talking about an analogy of going on a road trip with my dad to go visit his sister. My dad's elderly. He's 84 years old, and so I agreed to drive him halfway across the United States to go visit his sister for the last time at her farm in upstate New York from Texas. And he went and he got paper maps, and he's trying to navigate me with paper maps, and I've got GPS, and he's talking to me, you shouldn't go on this route because they have a lot of trucks, and you'll get behind a truck and it'll be really slow, and so you should take this path that's less traveled instead. And I told him, well, but I have GPS. I can have the Google map, and I can tell you that this way is 3 hours faster. I have hard data. I have hard numbers. I have evidence. I don't have to look at a paper map, and I don't have to speculate as to which the faster way is now, as you might have in the past. I don't need your conventional wisdom. I have better technology that can definitively answer this question. And he kind of refused to believe it, refused to kind of believe the GPS could lead to a better decision, a better outcome. And so I think traditional insurance players that continue to rely on paper maps rather than GPS are doomed to fail. They're really it may not happen tomorrow, and it may not happen next week, but that is the path to irrelevance. And so you need to understand these new technologies that are out there now. You need to understand which is ready for prime time now, like AI, that need to be a core part of your strategy, automation and others. And then you need to understand things like blockchain that are not quite ready for prime time yet, but are going to be soon, and the potential is huge. So you need to make that initial investment now. I also make one final point in the United States, and I think this may be true in other countries as well, not every country certainly, but in the United States I look at the top 10 P&C carriers. The youngest P&C carrier in the top 10 was founded in 1937, over 80 years ago. And if you look at almost any other industry, you would not see that the youngest person that was in a top 10 position in that industry was founded over 80 years ago. There's so much dynamicism in the economy in the U.S. and elsewhere. And so the question is, 20 years from now, are we still going to see that company, 80 years old or older will all dominate the top 10? And I don't think that's the case. I do think you're going to see a new company that started in the next either has started the last 5 years or will start in the next 5 to 10 years, will be in the top 10 in 20 years. And so that's really, we face an inflection point. We face a tipping point. This is coming much faster than people realize in the traditional space. And so it is the end of insurance as we know it. We haven't hit that tipping point or that inflection point yet, but we're rapidly approaching it. And everybody needs to understand that because that has profound implications for the insurance industry.